Hello everyone and welcome back to Sunsaw Gaming. So today we've got clutch masteries for you. And our first one here is sent in by Faded Reversal. You're all aware of him. He is on Kenyon and he's driving the Ho-Ri. Now we are just going to speed up the start of this match because he's just going to get himself into position. But we will slow it down at the point where I think this match takes a very vital turn, and it happens really early for Faded. And great awareness on his part to notice it. So he's just going to post up here. He's going to look for these shots at any tanks that might go medium, and if you notice, most of his team are going out to where ACAP would be on Supremacy, except for this light tank who is just keeping an eye on the flank, which, good move. Now this is where Fated notices, okay, there's too much going on over the side, and instead of pushing up to the right after he looks at this Vickers, like most people would, he turns around and goes the other way, and that is the move that changes the face of this whole game. Now, if Faded had pulled forward there and tried to get higher on that ridge to get shots, he would have exposed his sides to tanks. He would have gotten farmed out. So coming back this way, where his light tank was heading, is a smart move. Now, hats off to the Sheridan for staying alive as long as he does with the reload that that tank has. Unfortunately, Fated does get shot crossing there as well, which is never good. But this Sheridan's still doing a good job keeping this Primo player in the VK90 occupied. And Faded's just going to rock up around the corner, give his light tank some support and assistance, and help him out. Now, if you look at the mini-map real quick, you'll see that Faded's team has one TD now that is over by his spawn, and the rest of the tanks have grouped up in the middle. Now, don't do this, guys. If you're on this map, you cannot have all of your tanks in the middle. You will get surrounded just as you are seeing what's happening on the minimap. Like, the red team are able to get all the cross shots, and a beautiful shot there through the rails into the FV4005. Oh, just beautiful. And by the looks of it, he's going to line up this grill. Let's see if he gets the shot, and he does. Another beautiful snap across the map there. So, at this point now, it's a 4 versus 5. You know, there's still a fair bit of hit points on each side of the battlefield, and Faded is just going to look at picking up some of these one-shot kills like that grill there. Now, unfortunately, he's not reloaded to hit the Vickers light. He doesn't get spotted, which is good. His teammate there in the Sheridan does, though. But, you know, that's alright. They've got a almost full hit point tank down the back there, and they're in a good position to farm this. Now, what I don't get is the Sheridan takes a shot there, backs off, cool. But this other guy is not getting out of there, and he's just getting singled out. He stayed there with his 20-second reload for way too long. And now the Sheridan's going to run in, dunk another shell, which he doesn't do any damage with. And this is where it turns into a 3 versus 1. There's a very healthy Object 704, which thankfully the Sheridan is turning around, which helps out Faded get some damage out there, gets the shots into the side of him. Hopefully he goes for another one here. Can't quite save his teammate because they're behind the buildings, but he does take the damage on the object. Now there is a very, very healthy E75 out there as well at somewhere out there. We don't know where. He's probably over with those two somewhere, but this is where Faded makes the right move. He backs up. So it's very nice bounce there, by the way. FV firing at range, just not able to hit the mark. But I like how he uses this rock as cover. He pulls himself into a position where he can see both of the channels of attack that the enemy are going to take, and spots the E75 there, spots the Object 704, lovely shot there to clear him out. Only had a fraction of his tank to be able to actually aim at, and pulls into cover, uses this, and this is just a great way of clutching the game. Does take a shot from the E75 there, but also dishes it out in return. Now that E75 is a one shot, and that works out in Faded's favour big time. Now he's just got to worry about this FV that's pulling up. Gets a nice snap into him, using the rock. Just great way to clutch a game. Like, if he hadn't pulled back to where this rock is, it could have gone wrong. Now, after that E75 and the 704 had been cleared out, I probably would have pushed down towards where the 704 was, away from the E75. And the fact that Faded didn't do that just showed a level of patience and sweatiness, to be honest. Very sweaty of you, Faded. But great mastery there. 6,900 damage, 6 kills, clutched the game, gets the win for his team, even though 2 of his teammates got 0 damage. Wow. We're into the next match now anyway. So this next one is Akitsu, or better known as Every Good Name Is Taken. Now this replay I got from Every Good Name Is Taken just so as I could give it to Microforce on Blitz, Microforce Blitz Adventures, and he was going to do a learning from the YouTuber series on Every's gameplay here, but he's been inactive now for 2 weeks on YouTube. I'm not quite sure why. I hope he comes back. I did like his content, but since he's not here to use it, I figured I would put this video out. Now it is from the last update, but it goes great into this Clutch Masteries series, because what happens here is just absolutely amazing. Straight off the bat here, Every realizes, okay, the P44 Pantera is heading towards town. There's already a couple of heavies in town. That's where the fight's going to be. So he pushes down off this hill real quick, no hesitation. Now, if there had been, you know, another tank that had spawned up the top like a heavy or something that come in behind him, it could be risky. But with risk comes reward, and that reward is this AMX. Doesn't want to know him, does not want to know Every at all. And Every's just going to load up the HE rounds, pop those shells into him nice and easy, swaps the AP when he's got the frontal armor, knows that the 5120 is on a reload, so he's, 5100 is on a reload, and not too worried about it. Now I love how he checks behind him there as he's backing away from this 5100, just to make sure that he wasn't going to get crossfired pulling out of the section, wiggling his tank, trying to get all the angles to try and bounce that shell from the 5100. Unfortunately, he does not manage to bounce it, realizes the Tiger's looking his way. Great side scraping angles. This is one of those tanks. If you side scrape too much in the Chrysler K, you will easily over angle and your armor will just become butter. So very slight angles there, as you see Every using, is just perfect in this tank. Now, if Every had waited for his reload there, he would have been able to get the shot on the Pantera, but goes for the risky one instead. I would have too. Misses that one unfortunately, but RNG can't always be on your side. Now you can see there are 4 versus 6 here. There are some low targets on the enemy team, and Every's going to try and capitalise on that. He's going to go after some of these one-shots, try and clear them out, because his team is bleeding, and even a tank with 1 HP can do max damage. So right move there by Every, noticing that he can get in on the flank. Notices the Emil was going to shoot him there, which was great. Pulled forward, got the block on the tracks. The Emil doesn't aim his second shot, gets another block, and hopefully Every can clear up this 34 just like that. Nicely done. And it is now a 1 versus 3. Every realizes this. He's done all the damage he can do safely from that position, and he's just going to run away. Now, the P44 Pantera was coming out over there where Every is looking, just waiting for him to come out. Doesn't quite show his face, but Every running the way that he did here was the smart move. He got himself further away from town, he got himself into a hull down position. He used his tanks to mobility that some of the other tanks down there don't have to get up this hill quickly to a safer location, hoping that these enemy tanks will come at him sort of one at a time. And this is where clutching a match is really important, guys. Just having the forethought of what could happen in a match. Now he sees the Pantera here, gets a shot into him, notices that the Pantera is not being aggressive, so he thinks ahead. He's wondering what could happen here and doesn't want to be flanked, so he pulls away from the Pantera just to try and get some distance between him and hopefully get all of the enemy in one place. Does take a shot from the Tiger there, but in doing so he has managed to pull himself now into a position where both of the enemy tanks are in front of his gun and he's not flanked. If he had stayed there and tried to take on the P44 Pantera, he would have got flanked by this Tiger and it would not have gone well for him. And again, great use of a hull down position. This tank, hull down, if you can hide that lower plate, it's going to do amazing wonders for you. It's got a quick reload on the gun, the penetration is good, the damage isn't quite as high as some other tanks, but it doesn't need that high alpha damage really. And just great work then, keeping away from the Emil 1 and the 3 shots that it's got, clearing out the more dangerous tank, which was that P44 Pantera, just because it's an auto reloader and it's very mobile, it could cause troubles. Again, back into a hull down position, not sure what this Emil 1 is doing, what thoughts were going through his head at this moment. He's just trying to rush and get his 3 shells in, which he does not get. Every is not a bad player and he's not going to let him get away with it. Lovely shot there into the upper deck of the Emil one. Even though he's trying to be held down, the Chrysler K is tall enough that it can get these shots over the ridge. And that works out really nicely here in Every's favour. He's already got 2,600 blocked damage. He's at 5,400 damage dealt now. And, I mean, he's just doing a lovely job here. He is going to circle around with this Emil for a little bit. The Emil is on a reload, trying to get those shells back into his chamber. Every tried to capitalise on it. Unfortunately, the Emil does get the reload on and also manages to pop Every in return. Now, Every can take 2 shots from him, but the Emil has 2 shots left. And that's not good. Now, Every could clear out this Emil in 1 shot. All he needs is a good high roll and this Emil could go down. So Every's going to try and bait him around the corner here because he can't push on him without taking a shot, and he doesn't want to risk taking that shot. So he's doing everything he can. Swaps to the APCR there. Leaves him on 4 hit points. That is very bad. Also takes a shot in return. This is down to the wire. These guys are both 1-shots. I love how he puts in the HE round, looking for the corner of the turret here on the Emil, and goodbye. That's how you clutch a game, guys. Just paying attention, being map aware, looking for your opportunities, knowing when to retreat, and being aware of what could progress further on in the game. Like, he moved so as he wouldn't get flanked by that tiger, and he was looking ahead for that. Nice ace mastery there, 6,000 damage, 6 destroyed, 130,000 credits, the pools medal, the steel wall. Absolute great job there. Thanks for sending that to me, Every. I appreciate it, man. Until next time, stay safe, use cover. Cheers.